stand here 5,000 years ago, and you would see nothing but endless sand and a winding ribbon of blue water cutting through the desert. But look closer, because on the banks of that river, something impossible was about to begin. Something that would outlast empires, conquer death itself, and leave behind monuments so vast that even our modern world cannot fully explain them. This is the story of ancient Egypt. Not just the pyramids, not just the mummies, but the entire 3,000-year journey of the longest-lasting civilization in human history. And we are going to tell it all in just 15 minutes. The Nile River is the heartbeat of Egypt. Without it, there is no civilization. Every year, the rains falling far to the south would swell the river, sending it flooding over the dry valley floors. When the waters receded, they left behind a layer of rich, black silt, so dark and fertile that the ancient Egyptians called her land Kemet, meaning the Black Land. This was the gift of the river. It was also the stage for one of the most extraordinary experiments in human history. Around 3100 BCE, two separate kingdoms ruled this land. In the south, the white-crowned kings of Upper Egypt. In the north, the red-crowned kings of Lower Egypt. For generations, they fought until one man decided to change everything. His name was Narmer, and when he marched north with his armies, he didn't just win a battle, he created a nation. On a carved stone pallet now kept in a museum in Cairo, we can see him wearing the crown of Upper Egypt on one side and the crown of Lower Egypt on the other. The first pharaoh, the first ruler of a unified Egypt. And he was just the beginning. For the next 500 years, Egypt grew wealthy, organized, and ambitious. The kings of the Old Kingdom built cities, established a bureaucracy, and developed a religious system that revolved around one central belief. The king was not just a ruler. He was a living god, and when he died, he had to ascend to the heavens to join the sun god Ra. To do that, he needed a staircase. So they built one out of stone. Step by step, block by block, the first pyramid was born, the Step Pyramid of Djoser, designed by a genius architect named Imhotep. But it wasn't enough. They wanted to touch the sky itself. So, at a plateau called Giza, they did the impossible. Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaure, three pharaohs, built mountains of limestone that would stand for eternity. Thousands of workers, not slaves as you've been told, but skilled laborers who lived in nearby cities, dragged blocks weighing several tons across the sand. They did it without wheels, without iron tools, and without any machinery. And yet, the Great Pyramid of Khufu would remain the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. But the Old Kingdom could not last forever. Droughts came, the Nile failed, the central government collapsed, and Egypt slid into chaos. Out of the chaos, a new order emerged. The kings of the Middle Kingdom moved the capital to a city called Thebes, and they reimagined what Egypt could be. This was a period of expansion, prosperity, and cultural brilliance. They dug massive irrigation canals. They built fortresses along the southern border to protect against Nubian raiders. They even sent expeditions deep into the desert to find precious oils and exotic spices. But more than anything, the Middle Kingdom became known for its art and literature. This was a time when scribes wrote about personal struggles, about the meaning of life, and about the loyalty of ordinary soldiers. For the first time, the common people believed that they too could have an afterlife, not just a king. But the power of the pharaohs grew weak once again. Foreign nomads, known as the Hyksos, swept in from Asia with new weapons, chariots and composite bows. They conquered the northern delta, and Egypt fell under foreign rule for the first time. It was a humiliation the Egyptians would never forget. It took nearly a century, but the Egyptian princes of Thebes rose up and drove the Hyksos out. And in doing so, they created something entirely new, an empire. The new kingdom was the most powerful, richest, and most dramatic chapter in Egyptian history. The pharaohs did not simply defend their borders. They expanded them. They pushed into Nubia, capturing its gold mines. They marched into the Levant, subduing city-states across modern-day Syria and Israel. And this period gave us some of history's most unforgettable figures. First, Hatshepsut, a woman who declared herself king, wore the false beard of the pharaohs, and built the most stunning terraced temple at Deir el-Bahri. Then came the heretic pharaoh, Akhenaten, who shocked the priesthood by abandoning the old gods and worshipping a single deity, the sun disk Aten. He moved the capital to a new city in the middle of the desert, but the religious revolution died with him, and the capital was abandoned. Shortly after, a young boy ascended the throne. He died at just 19, his tomb hidden and forgotten for thousands of years, until Howard Carter found it in 1922. Tutankhamun, the boy king, the golden pharaoh. But the true warrior of a new kingdom was Ramesses II, known as Ramesses the Great. He ruled for 6 to 7 years, fought the Hittite Empire, the largest chariot battle in history, the Battle of Kadesh, and covered Egypt in monuments larger than any ever built before. The colossal statues of Abu Simbel, the massive hypostyle halls of Karnak, the tomb complex in the Valley of the Kings, all of it was carved by his command. But, like all empires, Egypt's strength was not infinite. The sheer cost of empire began to drain the treasury. The priesthood grew so rich that they controlled more land than the pharaoh himself. Foreign mercenaries, Libyans, Nubians, and Greeks filled the army. By 1000 BCE, Egypt was already splintered. The pharaohs were weak. The great power of the Bronze Age was crumbling across the entire Mediterranean. Egypt survived the collapse, but its glory days were over. Foreign kings came in waves. The Nubians from the south conquered Egypt and became its pharaohs. The Assyrians from Mesopotamia swept in with iron weapons and brutal tactics. The Persians, the greatest empire the world had yet seen, swallowed Egypt like a grain of sand. For 200 years, the Persians ruled the Nile. And then, in 332 BCE, a young Macedonian general appeared on the horizon. Alexander the Great marched his Greek army into Egypt, and the people welcomed him as a liberator. He founded a new city on the coast, naming it Alexandria. It would become the greatest center of learning in the ancient world. After Alexander's death, one of his generals, Ptolemy, took control of Egypt. The Ptolemaic dynasty was Greek, not Egyptian, but they adopted the local gods and crowned themselves pharaohs. The last of these Greek rulers was a woman of extraordinary intelligence and ambition. Her name was Cleopatra. She seduced 2 Roman generals, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, in a desperate attempt to keep Egypt independent. But Rome was unstoppable. In 30 BCE, Octavian's forces closed in on Alexandria. Cleopatra, hearing that her lover Antony had fallen on his sword, took her own life, willingly bitten by a venomous serpent, or so the story goes. With her death, the 3,000-year history of the pharaohs came to an end. Egypt became a Roman province. The temples closed. The hieroglyphs were forgotten. The mummies stopped being made. But the memory of Egypt never died. It was carved into stone, painted on walls, and buried in the sand. The pyramids still stand. The Nile still flows. And 3,000 years of human ambition, artistry, and wonder still whisper to us from past. What will you choose to explore next? Tell us in the comments below. Subscribe to join us for the next chapter of human history, because the story of civilization is far from over. We have only just begun.